In a world where change is the only constant, Mo Shamil stands at the forefront, guiding title professionals to not just grow their businesses, but to master the art of innovation. With every episode, you're handed the keys to unlock unparalleled growth and stay ahead of the curve. Get ready for a transformative journey.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Title Agents podcast. I am your host, Mo Shamil, CEO of Alltech National Title. I have a huge favor to ask. I would love for you to give us a review on your favorite podcast app or on our YouTube channel. And that would mean a lot to me and to the podcast. Today, I will be interviewing Phil Moeller from the Moeller Real Estate and Business Podcast. Phil interviewed some of the sharpest minds in the industry, and today we're flipping the mic to hear his take on what's shaping the future of real estate and how to build a lasting business and the lessons learned along the way. Let's jump in. Well, welcome, Phil. Can you please share with us your background and your story?
Yeah, Mo, first, thanks for having me on. Phil Moeller from Ohio, as we said, married to my wife, Marcia, for 17 years. We have 5 kids, ages 5 to 13, or 5 to 14. Geez, they grow fast. So I am busy with kids and trying to keep track of everything. And my wife, really, she does the legwork there, Mo, I have to tell you that. But so that's a little bit about me personally. Professionally, went to school, grew up in an entrepreneurial family, went to school for engineering, did that for several years, kind of was doing the corporate path, growth thing. And just had this urge in 2013 to do something entrepreneurial. Had been reading and studying about real estate and even thinking about acting for a couple of years, but I just procrastinated and overthought it, engineering mind. But pulled the trigger. What got me over the hump was my wife was a hairstylist and she would work, nights and then Saturday mornings as well. And we had recently had our first child. And I'm like, we have to, I at least have to start to get out of this in some way, shape, or form. So we started buying houses in 2013 with the goal to, okay, we can replace her Saturday mornings, and then we can replace her Thursday evenings, and then maybe Tuesday evenings, and getting her time in the evenings and weekends with me and with the family. And then over time, it continued to grow from there. So that was the first inspiration, was really help my wife work less as we were having kids and starting our family. And, over the course of time, it just evolved.
So a perfect timing to start buying houses like 2012, 2013.
Also very good timing. And what's interesting is when I started looking in 2011 and 2011, 12, 13, and guess what? Nothing looked good. Like in my mind at that time, it was like, man, this is all risky. What am I going to do? But certainly looking back, it was a great time to start investing in real estate. There was a good 8-10 year run for real estate for sure there. So, it was, we were very fortunate and blessed in that way for sure.
Awesome. So what led you to launch your podcast?
So for my podcast, 2013 to 2017, we bought single family. 2017 to 2021, we were buying multifamily. That's when I left my W-2 ultimately. And then 2021 to 2024, I was doing some investing, our own deals. I was doing a lot of passive investing, but I was really looking for, okay, I've gotten myself to a good spot financially. We've been very fortunate, very blessed. And how can I, what's next? How can I, serve others? Maybe there's some marketing strategy to it, but really, how can I bring value to others? Because what really gets to me at my core, Mo, is when I see people with so much potential, and I think there's so many people with so much potential that aren't going after it, right? They don't have the courage to bet on themselves to become who they really are. And that's what just, it irritates me. And I want to help those people get over the hump to say, you know what? No, you can do more. You need to bet on yourself. Let's go after this. So launching the podcast was my way of hopefully getting that message out a little bit more. And I'll tell you, it was hard. I mean, I go back to, the first single family house or when I bought my first apartment. You really have to have your why behind you want to do something to get over the hump. And I wanted to do this to try to nudge other people to do it, but I was hesitating. I was holding back. I didn't have the courage to take the leap because I was worried, what are people going to think of me? Do I know enough? Am I good enough to have this platform? All those limiting beliefs that we all have in different ways were coming about for myself as I launched the podcast. But once I did it, then I was like, guess what? None of those, it was okay. I didn't get, it was okay. I mean, yeah, I think it's hopefully having a positive impact on people. Yeah.
I know the power of why is literally it's the foundation and the key to everything in life. Can you elaborate more on the why, and why is it so meaningful and foundational, like in any purpose in life, actually any journey in life?
Yeah. So first of all, I think it is extremely important, and I think it can evolve over time as well. So I talked about in 2013, my initial why was help my wife to work less to be around our family. And then eventually it changed to, okay, maybe she doesn't need to work at all. And then it became, well, she isn't working as a hairstylist anymore, but she's working a lot in the real estate business. So can I replace that? And then it's, I started to see, oh, maybe I could not have to work anymore. And then it became, well, if I didn't work anymore, what's the impact I could have? What else could I do in what different ways? So the why is always the driver. And if we don't have that and we don't have clarity of that, then I think it's going to be harder to have the courage to take action. So I think combining first getting clarity of your purpose, and like the acronym I use, or what I'm building out is what I call the purpose matrix, but the acronym I use is PEACE: purpose, education, association, courage, and example. It starts with getting clear on your purpose and your mission and what you think that is. It doesn't need to be crystal clear to you, but think about it, be aware of what you think it is, and move in that direction. And know that a lot of times you're moving and you might be going through fog, but there will be more clarity on the other side. But if you think you know what your professional purpose is, or what your family purpose is, or what your health purpose is, or faith, or whatever it is for you, move in that direction. And as you move in that direction, you'll get more and more clarity, and you'll redirect, because as Steve Jobs says, you can't connect the dots forward, but you can connect the dots backwards. So start moving in the direction and you'll get more clarity. But here's what I'll say is, if you think about it, but you don't act upon it, you're not going to get more clarity. So that's where get clarity on what it is, educate yourself and grow your mindset through education and associations, and then have the courage to act, I think is why the acronym and the process works well together, because you can't just think about it. You got to educate yourself and you got to pursue it.
Awesome. What was one of the biggest surprises you encountered early on as an entrepreneur in the real estate space?
I think the biggest surprise for me was that if you really focus on something and put your heart into it and your mind into it, you can be really successful. So I just didn't probably have the confidence early on that I could be successful in this, or I certainly didn't see where I am now at that time. And I just think what was surprising to me was the level of success maybe we were able to have, because I just didn't have that context. Like I just didn't even see where I couldn't see this far back then, right? So as I did more, I continued to grow the confidence that, okay, I can do this. I do belong what I'm doing. And I kept moving forward because of it. So I think the surprise is that anybody, this isn't me, but I think anybody can be successful if they put their effort and energy into something, especially if they're really on a mission and have a clear why.
Have you had any mentors or pivotal moments that really shaped your business philosophy?
I've had a lot. In the corporate world, I had a lot of leadership mentors. I'd say who really stands out is a gentleman by the name of Tim Kite and then Brian Kite. They founded a leadership business called Focus 3. But Tim Kite he studied under John Wooden at UCLA years ago in the 70s. And he was our leadership coach in the corporate world when I was in the corporate world. And he had this simple message. It's called the R factor, but event plus response equals outcome. We don't control the events in life. We only control our response. And then the outcome is a byproduct of the two, but we don't completely control the outcome either. So we just have to focus on our response and in what we do, and then kind of block out all the noise around us, what's called, all the worldly things and noise around us. So, and then just leadership, create the culture that drives the behavior that gets results is another thing. And just the mindset around leadership and the importance of it. He was very, very impactful on me holistically, not just real estate. And then I've been part of networking group. We were part of a networking group together, or mastermind group, that's had a profound impact. A lot of different mentors within that. Just a lot of great people that have impacted me in a lot of great ways.
Awesome. So real estate is constantly evolving. And what are some of the biggest shifts you've seen or noticed in the markets over the past decade when you started investing in real estate?
Well, yeah, we talked about it a little bit. So from 2011, 12 through 2021 timeframe, let's say, just really a strong growth, low interest rate environment, and rising rents, just a phenomenal time to be in and holding real estate. And then challenges in a lot of places over the last couple of years. So I think the biggest shift is just ensuring that you're not. The shift has been supply demand to the construction. So what's going on in construction, especially. This is a little bit dependent on markets, right? So the Southwest, the Southeast, major, they have growth in a lot of places like Texas and Florida, but major construction. And just ensuring that as you evaluate or underwrite deals, that they work well and they can work in today's environment, and you're not betting on something that's coming. I'm in some passive investments that are, they're a real challenge. Fortunately, in the Midwest, I think the other message is all real estate there's markets, but it's also local. So in the Midwest where I'm at, it's just been more slow and steady growth. So it hasn't gone through the roof. It's grown, but certainly the crash or the other side hasn't gone down as we're just slower in the Midwest, Mo. We just move slower. We just, the market's a little bit slower and steadier, but
I personally prefer that. I personally less slow and steady versus the hyper ups and downs, which is that's just not, it's insane.
And because of some passive deals that I'm in other markets, I've grown to really appreciate the slow and steady path as well. And, there's people that made a lot of money really, really fast, but there's also unfortunately a lot of people that are losing a lot of money really, really fast. So, just knowing the markets you're in and knowing them well, and whether that's, you're a real estate agent, a title agent, or an investor, knowing your markets and being just knowledgeable, I think can help you in your business and serve your clients really, really well.
Yeah. So what are some pieces of advice you would give to title agents or real estate professionals or real estate investors trying to stay competitive in today's environment? Besides being hyper local, I guess, is one of the things you mentioned to focus on.
I think, Mo, I think you're doing it now, which is serve others, especially if the market's a little bit slower. If you're, if you're serving others, if you're helping others, if you have an abundance mindset where, hey, maybe we'll compete here and there, but if I can just be a good title agent, or if I work well with the real estate agents or whomever and serve them and support them, long term, that always works out, right? It might not work out in the really short term. There's a book, The Go-Giver by Bob Burg, where it's actually a sales book. But if you just serve enough others, if you give to others without an expectation to get something back, but if you do it for the right reasons, it will come back in spades at some point in time in some way, shape, or form. So I think just serving others, and then in the industry, I think, project management and organization skills are super important to keep things together as you're working on tight deadlines and closing dates and things like that, as you know.
Yeah. So how do you personally keep learning and evolving in a fast-paced industry, and especially with the latest super kind of hyper growth in AI and automation? And
so first, I think education and association, as I said, are so critical. And I'm always looking for different ways to learn and grow from others, through books, through, whether it's, I like really, really old books, and I like, checking out some new books that are impactful. So I think there's mindset. I love mindset, leadership, faith, spirituality. I'm getting into that more and more. But there's also your industry, your niche, technology, and learning that. So like our team, for example, we use different software platforms, whether that's QuickBooks, AppFolio, and then these different, like AppFolio is, this is a big software company that's investing in AI. But as our small team we have here, we're also saying, hey, we need to continuously learn AI ourselves. And we don't have to solve it all right now, but let's start just using AI as a tool so that as it grows, we're growing with it and we're not left in the dark completely. So I think it depends on the team members and how tech savvy you are, maybe, but certainly it's coming. And just being a part of that and trying to understand it, I think is important. So we're just trying to use it wherever we can. I'm trying to ask my team, like, hey, did you ask AI about this or that, whatever, for whatever that is.
So what do you see automation, including AI, having the most impact in real estate or title space in the next 3 to 5 years, if you have a crystal ball?
Yeah. I think the title space might be more challenging for me to answer, but I think if there's big software companies or software platforms that people are using, those companies are going to be investing in AI and replacing, the basic tasks for sure. So like, I'll just use a property management software as an example, AppFolio, but there's going to be more and more dialogue with residents if it's very tactical dialogue, that's going to happen for us, right? And part of our differentiator is we answer the phone and we call people back and we are on top of it.
What
so
a
we're
concept.
trying to balance. Right. Brand new concept. That's yeah. But we're very cautious of how do we leverage technology but not lose that, right? So we're thinking about that and we're cautious of using it too much because we're trying to change how, from a property management and ownership perspective, how that's done, where we can really connect with and impact the residents. Residents and tenants, whatever you want to call it, there's such this negative perception sometimes, like tenants, toilets, and taxes from real estate investors. Well, we're trying to flip that and say, how do we really, just look out for them and impact them in some way, shape, or form. If we can, and we haven't figured that out yet. But long story short, we want to stick to the fundamentals. We want to, if we answer the phone, if we're organized, if we communicate well, we're going to have better rent collections. We're going to have better retention. Just like as a title agent, you're going to close more deals. You're going to get more referrals by doing those foundational things. But how do you bring technology in to support that and make it better without losing that personal touch is the challenge, I think.
So from your experience and the guests you've interviewed in your podcast, what separates the good entrepreneur from the truly great ones in business or in real estate specifically?
I think it's someone that's on a mission. I mean, I think it's someone that's clear as to what they're trying to do and why they're trying to do it. We have because of that, we've really built three reasons we are in business. One is we want to have a team that wins together. Okay. The second one is we want to impact everybody that we touch in a positive way. If that's residents, if that's the contractors we work with, if that's our investors, if that's our team members, we want to have an impact. And then the third thing is we want to have financial success and we want to donate a lot. I mean, our goal is to donate a lot as a team. We want to share with the team what causes we're a part of so that they can see the impact they're having, not just with the people they touch directly, but also as an organization. If we do well, we can also have an impact on different organizations that are in more need than we are. So those are the three pillars kind of our mission and what we're trying to do. And what I would say is, so like we're a real estate company, but really our mission is to leverage real estate to do good in many ways. And if we stay focused on that, I will stay energized, I will stay engaged, the team will stay engaged, and we'll be more successful because of it. So I think people and entrepreneurs that are clear on what they're doing and why they're doing it can be a major differentiator.
Awesome. How do you foster creativity and innovation in your business or content strategy with your podcast and blogs and social media?
Man, Mo, that's a tough one because I don't know, and I don't know if this is a bad thing, but if I don't know how creative, I wouldn't call myself creative. I think I try to be a deep thinker. I don't know if I'm successful at it, but, I guess I'll use the AI example. Like, hey, we just have to go try new things. And really, maybe it's a mindset of growth. And we just watched a leadership video as a team together, but it's like, if we fail or if we fall forward, try new things. If you fail, look at it as a lesson, not as a failure, and just keep trying new things. And I mean, for example, right now, we haven't hired VAs yet. I know a lot of people have done that. We're going to hire a VA. I hope it's extremely successful. But if it's not, we're going to learn through that process and we're going to get clarity as to how we're going to manage that in the future. So I think just trying new things and recognizing the main benefit often is the lessons you learn, not the direct benefit you get from it.
We can definitely talk offline about VAs. We've been using VAs for the last 10 years plus. So, and we're big advocates for.
All right. I will take you up on that. I appreciate it.
Are there any big bets or pioneering ideas you think more professionals in real estate should be exploring right now?
I think the couple of things that come to mind here. One is the crazy idea is be organized, answer the phone, communicate well. So it's not going to fundamentally change is maybe my first message. But what we're trying to figure out is how do we really, and I'm sincere about this because we haven't figured this out. How do we impact everybody that we touch? And like residents, we launched a financial education course for all of our residents 2 weeks ago where they had to sign up $100 to take the class with somebody. And if they finish the class, we will pay for the whole class. If they don't finish it, it's out of their pocket. But if they finish it, it's for them. We had very few people that registered. I would call it like, was it successful? I don't know, but we're going to try things and try to figure out, can we impact them from a faith, family, finance, health? How can we do that? And the only way we can do it is if we really create trust with them that hasn't been done in general in the industry. So we're trying to figure that out, and we're just scratching the surface. I'm excited for what that looks like 5 or 10 years from now, but I don't know how to do it yet. So we just got to keep trying things and moving in that direction. So I think if you can figure out how to serve your customers or whoever you work with in some way, shape, or form, that you're going to be successful, whether it's monetarily or not. Probably monetarily, that might take some time, but you're going to be successful and you're going to feel good about what you're doing.
Now let's shift gears to the podcast and brand or personal brand. What's a powerful way to build a personal brand what has a podcast and taught you about communication and connection in business?
So first of all, I talked about personal brand to my corporate team for the last 5 or 10 years because you're always building it. So I think it's really, really important that you're always building your personal brand. So how you present yourself, how you carry yourself, how you communicate to others. So if you're, how you get things done, do you say what you're going to do? All those things, like a lot of character traits, you're always building your personal brand. So that's in your own world, and that's not this strategic online brand. That's like your personal brand and who you are. You're always building that. So that's my first message. From a personal branding strategy and the podcast, and I'd say, first of all, I've learned so much myself from the podcast, right? I'm having conversations and I'm trying to, I'm bringing on great guests that have a lot of experience in different industries, different paths that they've taken to be successful. And I'm learning so much, and I'm trying to be curious, in the discussions, but I'm still trying to figure out what that all means and the strategic approach to that. Posting on social media is not the most comfortable thing, but we're doing that stuff. And I don't know, I'm not your branding expert, Mo. Honestly, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm hiring people, recognizing what I'm good at and what I'm not. I would say that I think I have a strong personal brand, and I think it's because I'm focusing on me and who I am and what I do. And the strategy and tactics are certainly an element of scaling that. But the first thing is you gotta be or become or do what you want that brand to be, which is really your most, I think, authentic self. You got to define who you are and who you want to be. And if you do that and be that person, your brand will grow. And then if you want to scale it, it gets into the marketing strategy and tactics and other stuff.
Any memorable guests or conversations that really changed your perspective or pushed you think differently?
I think I'll go back because I said it already, so it'll be easier to connect maybe for your listeners. But Tim Kite, I interviewed him, I think it was March or April. I interviewed him in February of 2024. He had stage 4 cancer. He knew he was he was nearing the end of the road, and he passed away 2 or 3 months later, unfortunately. And he had a big impact on me already. I had a lot of trust and credibility with him. I was really dialed in, really listening. And I think it was after the show, he said, Phil, I'm physically breaking down, but I'm mentally and spiritually stronger than I've ever been. And I thought that was a profound message about, his ability to disconnect from the worldly things and even physically how he was doing and be so strong emotionally, spiritually, and mentally was really impactful for me. So I'm like, okay, this person has been working on himself for 40, 50 years, right? Because John Wooden at UCLA was in the 1970s. He's been working on himself for 50 years, and the outcome of that has been such strong conviction in many ways. So that was pretty neat, and that has stuck with me for over a year now.
What's one habit that keeps you grounded as an entrepreneur? I'm a big believer in habits, the power of habits.
Yeah. Same. And I have a habit tracker and all this, right? All this stuff, Mo, that we probably do. But I'd say, first of all, having a good morning routine, I think, is so important. Just
amen.
Working out, what sauna, reflection, silence, prayer, whatever it is for you. I like to go we try to go when the weather is acceptable in Ohio. Mo, today it was not acceptable. You're talking 30-mile-an-hour winds, sideways rain. So my wife and I did not go on a walk this morning, but we try to go on a walk 3-4 times a week before the kids are up. And I'd say, I don't know, I think kids are pretty humbling. I think I have my stuff together sometimes, then all of a sudden chaos inevitably hits, and I think that humbles me a lot. So I would say that, and those would be some of the items. But habits, I think if you have a morning routine and you win the day by 7 a.m. or 7:30 or whatever time that is for you, you've won the day, and then everything else is onward and upward from there. So I think it's important to win the day. You just get yourself in a great state of mind, and you can tackle anything.
If you had to start all over again in real estate today, what's the first thing you would do?
I would connect like crazy and network like crazy with influential people in the market I want to be in. So if that's real estate agents, if that's owners, whoever that is, but I would just network like crazy and educate myself. And then I would take a little bit different path where I don't regret anything I've done, because I think things happen for a reason. But I stayed in the single family space for a long time. I'd probably go single family, and from a 1 to a 2 to a 4 to an 8, and I would shift to multifamily a little bit sooner, but I wasn't probably ready for that when I started. So just because of the confidence and the conviction, and I'd have more courage early on to take action a little bit faster. But again, I don't regret where I'm at. We've been super blessed. So
what advice would you give to real estate agents or title agents to start investing in real estate and build wealth? Because a lot of them kind of they don't believe that they can. They may say, "Hey, I don't have money. I don't know how to start. I don't," because it's overwhelming. Yeah, it's a lot of deals. They come and go through their hands. They either refer from somebody else or literally just don't believe they can do it. They can partner with somebody else that can do that deal and start building that wealth. And it's somebody said this a long time ago. Like, being in real estate, it's like insider trading real estate. A lot of times the deals go through your hands. You know the markets, you know the area. Having that knowledge, it's a great deal. You should jump on it, so whether you have the money or not, just figure out how to do it.
I think real estate agents, title agents have a huge competitive advantage to be able to become successful real estate investors. So a couple things. One, I would recognize what I'm good at and what I'm maybe not good at, and then try to identify people that are good at the things I'm not. So I would just realize that. And the second thing is, I can empathize with anyone in that situation, because that was me in 2011 and 2012. So before I bought my first single family home, I procrastinated like crazy. As I said, I thought about every single situation that might go wrong. I created them all in my head. None of them happened. But what I would say is, look at the best thing that can happen and the worst thing that can happen. And on my first deal, I said the worst thing that can happen is, maybe, first of all, could I get sued or something happen? Okay, that's why I put insurance in place and do the right things. But maybe the market will turn, or maybe I'll negative cash flow and lose $100 or $200 a month, or maybe $10,000 or $15,000 on the deal. But I can generally quantify the worst things that could happen to me, right? And they weren't that bad. They seemed bad, but they weren't that bad. What I thought was the best thing that could happen at the time was maybe I'll cash flow to $200 to $300 on that first deal, or maybe in 5 years it'll be worth $80 or $90 or $100,000. Well, what I just said did happen, the better side of it, but that wasn't the best thing that happened. The best thing that happened was I invested in the first deal. I learned a ton about real estate, about managing properties, and more importantly, I built the confidence and conviction that I can go do this again and again and again. So I waited 2 or 3 years to buy the first one, and then I waited 2 or 3 months to buy the second one, and then 2 or 3 months to buy the next one. So frame risk as the worst thing and the best thing, but recognize that the best thing that can happen is often not the tangible outcome of it, but it's really the lessons you learn, the confidence you get from that. So I would just say, understand the downside. Don't be silly about taking a massive risk and buying your first deal as a 100-unit property and you lose a lot of people's money. No, I'm not saying that. But if you understand the risk and the downside, just recognize the upside is way more impactful. And if I didn't buy that first deal, Mo, we wouldn't be on this call today, right? So I think how you frame risk and upside is important. And then if it makes sense, take the leap.
And even the worst case scenario you mentioned, be like negative cash flow, 100 to 100. Say you make a mistake and the worst case scenario happens, or you sell the property, 10, 20, 30,000, like a negative, the tax law kind of that benefits you, like kind of having that writing off that loss, so it's money you didn't make and kind of offsets the tax you pay.
I look back.
It's a win-win-win-win in a way.
It was ridiculous. I mean, it really was ridiculous. And if the worst thing would happen, what would it mean? It wasn't going to even impact our lifestyles. Like, okay, have the mindset that if you do fail forward, as I said earlier in the discussion. And even if the worst thing happens, you're going to say, this didn't go well. I learned from it, but I can see how this might work. I'm going to go do it again. I mean, you're going to, even if it doesn't go well, you're going to go do it again, because real estate, there's just a lot of different ways and benefits to make money. Tax is one of them, but a lot of other ways too. So I would encourage people, if it's on their heart and they want to do it, it's time to take that jump.
Awesome. We're coming close to the end here. Do you have a favorite quote?
First of all, I was thinking about my favorite quote. I have it on my wall. Is the Teddy Roosevelt, "The Man in the Arena." It's a long quote, but basically it says it's not the critic who counts. So I think you're nodding like you know it. I can read the whole thing, but it's really, don't worry about what other people think about you. If they're not in the arena, they're going to be a critic. But be in the arena, get clear on what you want, and pursue it. Is kind of my summary of that. So I love that quote. I've loved it for a long, long time. There are many others, but that would be my favorite. And I think it's probably because because of my conservative nature, I need to convince myself to have the courage to act. So that's why it resonates with me so much.
How about a favorite book or a book you read recently?
I would say, I mentioned John Wooden. I mentioned,
say a bunch of
so I would say John.
Atomic
John
Habits.
Wooden.
So see you.
Atomic Habits, Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl, Auschwitz concentration camp, just a profound story and really a story of survival. And the reason he survived is because he had a clear mission and purpose, is what he attributes that to.
They're making a movie out of it. I think that Tony Robbins
they really?
is a producer, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I have to watch for that because, that's a book that I just try to go back and look through my notes every year and just kind of reflect and take a look at it. So that's a really profound book that's had a big impact on me.
Well, thank you so much, Phil, for your time. That was a tons of wisdom, and I can't wait to talk to you very soon again.
Awesome, Mo. Thanks so much.
So big thanks to Phil for joining us today. Great insights on entrepreneurship, real estate, and leadership. If you like this episode, please check us out on this podcast or your favorite podcast platform on YouTube, and be sure to subscribe and give us a big 5-star review. Thanks for listening to the Title Agents Podcast, where we help you lead with legacy, evolve with purpose, automate for growth, and pioneer the future. See you next time.
In a world where change is the only constant, Mo Shamil stands at the forefront, guiding title professionals to not just grow their businesses, but to master the art of innovation. With every episode, you're handed the keys to unlock unparalleled growth and stay ahead of the curve. Get ready for a transformative journey